Okie dokie. We are here with episode 2 of Ronin Strength Speaks. Today's guest is Jeremy Patfield, a good friend of mine. As you can see, we're actually in his house on location. So yeah, more or less, we'll just kind of start off. Jeremy, give us a little bit about yourself, kind of you as a strength athlete.
Sure. My name is Jeremy Patfield. I've been in Strongman competitively this is my second season. I've always loved strength sports. I bodybuilded. I did a bit of CrossFit for a while. And also, I mean, my career is also pretty much strongman, but I get paid for it.
That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, there's pros and cons to that for sure. So.
Yep. Okay, cool. So what drew you in first to strength sports? Like, was there a defining moment for you that, like, drew you into being strong?
You know what? It's a good question. The biggest thing for me is, like, especially growing up, like, I started working in oil and gas when I was 19.
Yeah.
And one thing I've always noticed is when I started there, like, I was skinny. Everybody was so strong.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter if you were, like a 130-pound guy. Like, they were just crazy strong. And I'm like, I want to be strong like these guys, right?
Yeah.
So I always, like, I started hitting the gym hard, train. And then, like, as I started getting into, okay, I'm going to bodybuild. Well, I got to realize, like, a lot of these bodybuilders avoid, and I mean, I'm not trying to shit on all of them, but most, they avoid the labor strenuous work. And they're like, well, I want to save for the workout. Well, it's like, I don't want to be that guy. If I have all this muscle and size, I want to use it, right? Like, I want to be able to...
Functional muscle.
Yeah, apply to day-to-day life and not be that person who's always holding out and not giving back. So... and I ended up finding CrossFit, and I thought, okay, this is pretty sweet. Like, it's enduring. The only thing I didn't like about that was the gymnastics. I thought that was really, I think it's dumb. Like, what does it prove? It's a skill. Like, it's not. There's nothing strength. There's not saying like, hey, I'm better than you. It's like, ooh, you can spin around on a bar better. Congratulations, you're better at recess than I am, I guess.
That's fair. I mean, relative strength is strength in some format, I would say, but. Yeah, it wasn't necessarily a strength that got you real fired up about anything. It's not like a kid sees that and they're like, "Whoa, that's really cool." It's like, okay, you swung a couple times as the kids see that.
Right?
Kids aren't picking up cars, right?
No, and then Aaron from the gym told me about Strongman. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'll try it out. And then I did your show in Grand Prairie there, my first one, and I was hooked on it. After that, I'm like, this is like CrossFit, but not as long or stupid. And I'm like, this goes hand in hand with what I do at work. Like, I pick up heavy, awkward shit, and I take it from here to there, and I do it as fast as possible. I'm like, this works. I'm like, this is like literally, like, I've been like training for this since I've been 19. So it was awesome. Like, right away, like, it just clicked with me. I'm like, I love this sport.
Yeah.
And most importantly, I love how competitive the sport is, but I really love the community of strongman.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you just want to be a casual competitor or you want to be like an intense elite competitor, because there's something in there for everybody, and everybody always seems to get along. And it doesn't matter, even if you're casual and elite people, you'll see them still be able to hold conversations and still have a mutual respect.
Yep.
So I really, really, really appreciate the strongman community.
Okay. So now tying kind of back into strongman, everything like that, and this being the sport that's really gotten your attention, was there like a specific moment so far in your last 2 seasons where you had an achievement or a moment where you felt like you actually really belong in this sport? Like, you're like, oh wow, I'm actually like, this is a moment for me where you're like, I'm actually at the pinnacle of this, or like starting to really strive and feel like, yes, this is your place for sure?
Last year, it's hard to say. Like, last year was just an eye-opener because it's rookie season.
Yep.
And, I thought I did well. I would say after I went toe-to-toe with Will in Grand Prairie, that's when I realized I'm actually like could do something with this sport.
Yep.
And then I won provincials, and then I got my Arnold invite, and that's when I knew, like, right there, I'm like, okay, like, this is legit. Like I'm actually like good at this sport.
Yeah.
And then the Arnold invite, and then even Kamloops going toe-to-toe with yourself and Will and fucking Tyson and all these other like guys that are just killers. It's like, okay, like I belong here. Like I've worked hard to be here, and so this is it. Like, this is my lane. I'm staying in this.
Yep. No, for sure.
So
tying back to Kamloops and stuff like that, what about Kamloops kind of really stood out? Then for the viewers and whatnot, we're talking about the Kamloops Twin River Strength Fest that occurred in July. I think it was July 15th.
Yeah,
2-day show.
Great show.
Very, very good show put on by the Phelps brothers. Myself, Jeremy, a bunch of other high-caliber U90 individuals competed against each other. So for you, what was kind of your favorite moment of that show, if there was one?
Finishing out day one and being ahead of points on Tyson. Absolute favorite. I love Tyson to pieces, but man, any chance I can stick at him, I just fucking love it.
That's fair. So in your lead up to that show, I mean, obviously I feel like there's a good amount of preparation that went into that. What's kind of like your mindset and philosophy behind training, like going into your training, stuff like that, coming from like a strength perspective?
In all honesty, so my training, like the way I look at training is the way I look at my job. When there's a task outlined, you have to complete it.
Yeah.
You don't get a choice. It's like you do the fucking job or you don't. And if coach says you need to do this many reps, this many sets by this, then that's what I do. Obviously, I mean, there's some days where like you don't feel like it's something, like you don't feel like getting to work, but you still drag your ass to fucking work, get the fucking job done.
Yeah.
And there's some days too where training just doesn't go where the fuck, but those days are to be expected and they're always accounted for. But yeah, the biggest thing is just, and the days where I don't want to do the work and it sucks, I just pull out, or as David Goggins would say, he stores those cookies away. Well, I just pull out one of those fucking cookies and that's what I munch on. And the funny thing is, actually, I was leading into Kamloops. I was pretty tired and burnt out, and because I had done 3 shows up to that point, I didn't really prep for Kamloops. And I remember Tyson just saying something on his fucking podcast, and like I was almost gonna pull out of Kamloops because I'm tired, my back was fucking bugging me. And then Tyson said something, and it fucking really pissed me off. That wasn't a cookie, man. That was a full meal fucking dinner, and I'm like, I'm eating this, and I'm like, I'm fucking coming for you.
Understandable. So would you say as an athlete that you're more of someone that's fueled by other athletes as opposed to direct goals and motivations? Do you find that you get a lot more fired up when you have rivalries and competitors that help push you?
I think that helps. I definitely think that helps. But even still, that gets to a point where it's just like that fizzles out. So it's just like now it's me versus me at this point. And that's kind of where I'm at right now, where it's like I'm not really angry so much anymore versus like, okay, like I have to get this done now.
Yeah.
Like I gotta see these 2 goals through, because that's something I promised to myself. And when I was younger, I kind of made a mistake with the sport I was also very, very good at, and I didn't see something through that I should have.
Yeah.
And I've held regret, and I never thought in my life I'd be able to get back to the level I was at or beyond that ever again. So for me, this is a second chance, that redemption. So I owe that to myself to do this.
Yep. So then, tying back to that sport, what was the sport that you were at a high level at before?
I was track and field.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was a very, very good runner. I was one of the best in Canada in the 1500 meters. I was really good at the 800. And anyways, yeah, we qualified. We were favored to win the 4x400 at the Ontario Provincials. And anybody who knows anything about track and field, like Ontario is the best. Like even at a North American level, like you get people coming out of Ontario that are just phenomenal track and field athletes. And yeah, we would have won provincials, and obviously as far as it goes for high school, but club sport too, I was like phenomenal, like I said. So, but yeah, I kind of was stupid and liked a chick and decided to go do prom and think with my other head instead of the other one. And yeah, it is what it is, right? Live and learn. But now I got a chance of redemption, and this is what I'm coming for it. And if this is the hill I got to die on, it's the hill I'm dying on, and I got no problem with that. So
that's fair.
Yep.
So what do you feel like you have changed in your day-to-day life? Obviously, like you said before, you're kind of casually competing in CrossFit and stuff of that nature. What's really changed for you now, finding strongman as opposed to like casual competitiveness? So what does that look like in terms of like how you approach a train? Is it much different, or do you find that you have more motivation kind of coming forward into
I would say
now that you're at a higher level?
My training has always been very disciplined and coachable training, regardless of what level I'm competing at. The biggest thing is my goals.
Yeah.
So I have much more smaller but more frequent attainable goals, and it's anything from like, okay, like my goal today might be to hit 6 reps, and like next week is going to be to hit 7 reps, and then ultimately it's like, okay, well that's going to lead into like I want to place at this show, and you know, in this, you know, between like first and third, and then that leads up from that show. It's like, okay, well like I place here this show and prep for the next one. I should be able to hit this weight, you know, this PR, and then place at this show. So that's kind of, it's more smaller directed goals I find that I have versus just kind of be like, oh, you know, I'd like to try this, or, you know, give this a go, right? So there is more purpose behind my training. But my training intensity and everything else, I've always followed program. Like, always be coachable.
Yep, no, that's definitely a good way to look at it for sure. I know with my athletes, that's how we try and structure things too, is a small, measurable, realistic, and attainable goals.
Yeah.
Also set on like timelines, or if there's an overarching goal. For example, like if we're using nationals that's coming up here next weekend, is breaking down nationals into 5 separate goals of each event, right? And setting what's a minimum expectation, what's our best case scenario.
Yeah.
And then also just being like, hey, we've accomplished goal A, goal B, goal C, goal D,
right.
E.
And it's like climbing a mountain. Like you look at Everest, you're not going to be, I'm going to climb Everest. Okay, well, what's your plan?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to get to the top. Right on, man. Yep. So there's nothing else in between there you might want to prepare for or anything else. So yeah, it's important to definitely break down goals and, like you said, keep them realistic and short term leading to long term. Exactly, 100%.
So then, let's say when a goal doesn't necessarily go according to plan, how do you and your coach kind of come together? Because I know you've been with your coach for a while, and he's someone that I definitely respect in the strength community.
Well, and I mean, you know,
talented athletes.
I work with you as well too, right? You know, so I think the biggest thing is I kind of tell him, like, you know, I think to myself, and I know, and the thing is, coming into this my second season, I know the top guys, and I know roughly where they're at. And we all kind of know the area we need to be in to win. And I just tell him, this is the goal. Like, this is what we have to hit. We got 8 weeks to prepare for it. And he just gives me the work, and I don't question it. It's like, okay, I get this done. And, I mean, there's things going into nationals. I mean, there's a couple tough pills I have to swallow on 1 or 2 events. I'm not quite exactly where I want to be on them. But also, too, I can't beat myself up on it. I need to tell myself, too, because those people, despite what they're posting on their Instagrams and everything else, they're in a very similar boat with probably different events.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, nobody's going to be perfect there. Everybody's going to have their weaknesses, and anything can happen in a competition, especially one that elite where it's going to be that tight.
Well, yeah, that's the thing with strongman is it's not about being the best across all of the events. It's essentially the most consistent person wins the day, especially in large athlete pool things. And that's definitely what we're seeing more now so with Canadian Nationals is the athlete groupings are so much larger that it's like you just need to be the top 3 consistently, and you have your 1-trick ponies or 2-trick ponies where it's guys that are great movers but statically weak, or super statically strong but terrible movers, or just not necessarily strong enough but they're consistent where you're like, hey, you're just missing a year or 2 of the raw strength, right? So going into that, breaking down kind of the national events and stuff like that, what are you most excited for leading into this contest?
You know what? No, honestly, I'm actually excited for the deadlift this year. Deadlift's always kind of been one of my weaker events, and I tested it the other day, and, you know, I hit 9 reps just in training, and, you know, and I know I'm at a point where I need to taper because I'm fucking tired, I'm inflamed, and I'm beat up. Like that. But honestly, man, when I hit that 9 reps, I'm like, I got more there, and I knew I could tell when I made a couple mistakes, so I'm like, and to know, like, that was one of my weaker events, and to see, like, volume-wise I'm capable of that, that gave me a lot of confidence because I know I'm going to hang in the top 3 in that event. So that one I'm definitely fucking pumped for. And sandbag to shoulder. I fucking love sandbag to shoulder. I'm really excited for that one.
It really ties into work, right? You're just hoisting something off.
Literally, man. Like, literally. It's like fucking iron and everything, right? So, yeah, it goes hand in hand with what I do. Especially when, like, I like seeing people online talking shit that they're, you know, it's like, oh, I'm the specialist and I'm this and I'm that. And it's like, all right, bud. Save it for competition day. We'll see. We'll see what's what.
So for you, do you find that, like, competing with a lot of people that potentially have large egos and things like that, or even just, like, internet personalities, do you like playing the mental warfare and the psychological aspect? As crazy as it sounds to call it warfare, but in the reality, I know some people, and even in my competitive career, it's like I've definitely done things to lead other competitors astray. The psychology aspect of it.
You know what? I like to just kind of sit there and wait till somebody comes to me. And then once that happens, it's like a fucking switch goes off because I'm the kind of person where I meet energy and I double it. So it's just like I said, when going into Kamloops, when, you know, and Tyson didn't even mean to fucking throw shade on some of my numbers, but he totally did. And I was not happy because it almost just felt like a slap in the face. Like, man, who do you think I am? Like, you know what, man? Like seriously, fuck you, man. Like, I was actually, like, insulted, right? So that kind of got me fired up. And after that point, I'm like, it's on, motherfucker. Like, that put a fire under my ass. You know, and then it depends on the person and the individual. I mean, like, we kind of talked about that the other day with Arnold hiding shirts and stuff backstage. So, I mean, like, that's dirty. Like, that's really dirty. I don't know if I want to do that, but I mean, it's crossed my mind for sure. But, you know, I like to talk shit. Like, I like shooting the shit with the boys. And one thing I'm very grateful for is, like, the U90 guys are fucking awesome. Like, we're all buddies. We all get along really good. But we all talk shit, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny, though, too, right? Because it's actually pretty good. So I'm actually very, very grateful for that. And, yeah, you know, there's only a couple people that really kind of pissed me off this year.
Grind your gears.
Yeah, pretty much. There's the one guy out of Ontario who kept coming up here and posting how great he was and everything else. And it's just like, you're shit. No offense.
He fell a little bit short, having seen kind of the individual you spoke of. Yeah, there's a lot of looks really good on the internet, but when it came push to shove, it was a one-trick pony.
And it's just like, why would
the
you
caliber is a little bit below?
Do your homework before you start tagging other places and coming out here like you're big swinging wiener.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you're gonna go somewhere, like, I'm a person that likes to go to BC and compete, and you know, I feel like I did relatively okay there.
Yeah, you might think the water's shallow, but no, she's pretty deep in the West, and I'll tell you something, there's some fucking monsters out here.
Yeah,
and I don't think he was prepared for that. So
no, definitely not. And yeah, I mean, that the Alberta Provincials, everyone there put on a hell of a show across every single weight class. It wasn't really like there was anyone that had absolute runaway performances. It was a tight battle across.
So I'm grateful. Again, stuff like that kind of gets me fired up. There hasn't been too much of that going into the Nationals prep. Like, everybody's been kind of quiet, and you know, I think it's going to be a very tough Nationals in U90, and it's anybody's game at this point. It all depends. It's going to come down to who slept the best and who had the most perfect 6 minutes worth of work, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. So I know, personally, knowing you and having watched you compete a couple times now, what mentally are you going to change going into event 5 or 6, so the last event of the day? Because I've seen now on 2 occasions where you fumbled critical moments, and this is a little like journalistic, like a little stab at you, but I am very curious as what are you changing mentally going into that final event, because you had the opportunity to be
final event, the yoke, or
it was that yoke to axle, I believe.
Oh, Kamloops,
Kamloops, and then Atlas Stones, which once again you've never touched an Atlas Stone, but it looked like you mentally just kind of gave up at that point.
That one's case, the Stones at Nationals last year, 100%. Like, I remember, like, I got it up, and it kind of stuck because I didn't shave any of the hair off my arms. Big mistake.
Doesn't matter.
The guy who gave me that advice, huge dickhead.
I have the hair on my arms.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
So anyways, I was a hairy guy. Anyways, so no, it pulled off, and I remember, like, I kind of went to catch it, and I felt my arm kind of do something weird, and I'm like, at this point, I'm like, I've already lost. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'm not going to make up ground. It doesn't matter, because like everybody there was very good at stones. Yeah. So I just said, fuck it, live to fight another day, live and learn, and take that as a cookie for the cookie jar kind of thing, right?
Yep.
Kamloops, day 2, that was an interesting one, because I think a lot of it, just the season caught up to me there. I was, for one, tired, back was fucked, and I was just burnt. And I mean, especially because day 2 was the heavier events and heavier static events, right? Which, I mean, they played on me. They're not my best events, especially going to day 2. But I mean, I still held on. Thankfully, I had enough of a point lead to stay on the podium. But she was close.
0.5 close.
Too close. So, but no, this time, like, I know where I need to be calm, and I'm practicing it, and I'm just. I got to tell myself, and I started noticing that when I was at Kamloops, when I did the medley. I stayed calm. I didn't run. Stuck to the plan. The overhead is something I was worried about getting fired up about, but in practice and training, it's been very, very calm, especially, and I've had pressure added onto me, and I've just kind of stayed my lane, not get worked up, not get fired up. The last event at Nationals, I think, is a sandbag shoulder, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a good event for me going into the last one, so that'll help a lot, because I know my confidence will be good going into that last event, so regardless of how tired I am, I know I can still fucking send it on that, so that'll help a lot.
So it sounds like you've made the cognitive, like, you've recognized that not all events require like a whole balls out procedure. No. Where before starting out, having realistically seen you from event 1 all the way up to this point in time, your second nationals, as a spectator and a follower and a close friend, you've definitely put a lot of events. When you do an event, it's the red line. You're hitting that tack, pushing it. Now it sounds like you've made that adjustment in training as well, though, where you're not trying to get mentally over fired up, and you're like, hey, I can, come into this at like an 80% mental stimulation, and it's actually a lot better and a lot cleaner.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's part of that's experience. Right? I'd say actually all that's experience. and being a little wiser because I'm old. So
Yeah, but the wisdom does come with time, and obviously the more shows you get under your belt, the people you hang around with, stuff like that, you pick up little details
absolutely,
like that, right?
Yep.
So not every competition is going to look the same.
No.
So then coming back to like what's beyond nationals, what's next on the horizon for you after that? Are you taking a little bit of an off season, going to try and build up anything, or are you going to
kind of gonna I'm gonna take most likely. I gotta go work for 6 weeks in a row.
Fair.
Because I traded some days off with some guys that I work with.
Yep.
So I get time off for the Arnolds. But Arnolds is right now the number one thing on my radar. I haven't put much thought into anything else after that. I want to do the Arnolds. I want to make sure I got enough of a deload rest period and just time to actually relax. And then we'll start training for that. I don't know how much gains I'll be able to make between here and March after nationals. I mean, I'm sure there'll be some improvement, but realistically, I think the biggest thing I need to work on for the Arnolds would be overhead. If it's an axle bar overhead, I need to work on strength on that. My circus dumbbell is pretty good. My log is good when it's on. But otherwise, yeah, I would say overhead's what I got to work on the most. Obviously, still trying to always improve deadlift because I mean that's a staple in strongman. It's a cornerstone for everything. But yeah, I would say hopefully just get enough rest, get well rested, let my body heal a bit because I've been going hard this year. Going hard for the last 2 years, really. And then try and hit Arnold's hard. And like I said, I haven't put much thought in anything else after that. I got a couple things on my radar, but that's pretty much. I don't know if I'll do nationals next year or not in Quebec either. So
that's fair. Are you going to look at dabbling into any other sports? Is there anything like in the strength world that kind of tickles your fancy, like Highland Games?
Yeah, definitely
of that nature.
Highland,
you just want to do a little
Highland Games. Yeah, Highland Games looks fun. I want to do that for sure. I wouldn't mind trying a little bit more arm wrestling. But yeah, definitely Highland Games is on my radar for next year. Just to fucking fuck around and find out kind of thing, right? Because I mean, it looks fun throwing hammer throw, caber toss, right? Like it's basically just fucking Scottish strongman.
That's pretty much all it is. Yeah. It's select events for that.
Yeah. Just go on these guys in.
Yep.
Here's the old one. Get in here. Climbing back door. Big baby.
All right. So, like, we have talked a little bit about more or less, like, how much time and effort you put into the training and stuff like that. But what's the back end look like for you? Like, what's recovery? How do you prioritize that?
Well, like, I mean, sleep, like overall recovery is, like, number one. Like, if you can't
well, I mean, what do you do for it, right?
I just follow program. I mean, realistically, like...
So does your coach lay out his, like, expectations? Like, he wants you to get X amount of hours of sleep?
Oh, he always...
do the meal plan? Like,
okay. Oh, that way. Yeah. No, so... I'm a funny guy when it comes to food. I'm going to tell you something. I train to eat. I fucking love food.
That's why I did strongman as opposed to bodybuilding.
And Coach Ernie, he's very particular. And I think he understands this, so he basically just gives me, like, don't get heavier than this weight in your off season. Like, don't blow up and turn into a fat fuck.
Yeah.
Try and stay around here. So that gives me a lot of freedom. So as long as I'm keeping an eye on the scale, like, I can eat my ice cream, I can eat my pizza and my chips, because those are important to me.
They're important to all of us.
Right? So I think more or less the biggest thing is for recovery is just to actually recover. And Matt Frazier.
Yep.
So every time he won the CrossFit Games, he would take 2 months off.
Yep.
Zero training at all, zero diet. And he would purposely just lay on the couch all fucking day to the point where he wanted to work out. And I want to take a somewhat similar approach. I still want to get my cardio done.
Yep.
I actually do thoroughly enjoy doing cardio. And just stay moving. But yeah, I want to do something similar.
Fair enough. No, that's understandable. I mean, like, I personally have had a little bit of a year where I've not necessarily been the most consistent with any type of training at all.
You're a freak. You're a freak.
But I've also actually gotten back to that point where it's like, no, I'm really craving to work out again. Like, leading up to this arm wrestling tournament, like the last 2 weeks where I wasn't doing anything because I'm like, I just need to be fresh, and then all that stuff coming off of the BC provincials, I was like, I actually now, for like the first time in 7-8 months, I'm like, I'm craving to go work out and do things again.
What's it like to be able to just fucking roll off the couch and jump into something and come top 3? I'm just genuinely curious with like zero to little prep. Like, ultimately, that's my goal at the end of the day, is just be good enough where I can show up to a pro-am, come on the podium, train for 2 weeks, and fucking
27 pounds.
Go back into exile after that.
Well, I did go back into exile. I went and won the big weight class at provincials.
What was that like?
So, fair enough. It's a good question. Good question there, Jeremy. No, I think that comes from years of experience and just being very body conscious. Like, a lot of athletes aren't necessarily If you don't get to the points of attunement where they're like, hey, I know exactly what my body's capable of at any given time.
Yeah.
I will admit that I've been a terrible person to coach a lot of times because I understand strength sports. I'm particular in how I like to do things, but also if I go into a gym and, for example, I can't do a program in order, that fucks me up personally. So I'm like,
yeah, I'm the same way.
So then it's everything gets thrown off. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna kind of go back to what I know I do well. Where if I go in kind of preemptively built my own program, I'm I know I have to do X movement generally or this style of movement, not an exact one. It allows for a little bit more freedom and mental kind of clarity. Now, is that the best way to go about things for everyone? No, God, no.
No.
My best performance, I would say, was 2020 Nationals, where I spent 3 months dialed in. I woke up early ass in the morning. I went for a hill sprint, and I went straight to the gym, did the program, bang on, and then ate properly and all that.
Routine.
It was very much so routine, but I knew if I went that early, I could do everything I was supposed to do in a day. There wasn't going to be anything I couldn't do, that kind of stuff. And, I mean, I won that national, but I think it was 14 points. So, proper cheek spanking.
Oh, 100%.
But circling back around to the question, it's realistically just being very, very aware, having numerous years of competing, and also gauging, before I signed up for any of those contests, I always tested events in advance to see exactly where I was at. And then it would give me an idea of how competitive I'd be.
Yeah.
Right? So it's for the Kamloops one, if it was events I didn't like, because that's another thing too, is I really only compete in shows now that are going to be fun. It's if there's a bag toss and a front hold and all sorts of other stuff, I'd be no, fuck this. I have no desire to do that.
I'm not going to lie, I don't like the bag toss. I can give a fuck about that event too.
No, personally, I think bag toss is dumb. It's not a cool event to watch. You're throwing a sandbag up over 15 feet.
I don't see the strength aspect of that.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a little bit.
Sure.
But it's more technical.
Sure, it's not everyone's cup of tea. People might not like grip events, but
I like the front hold.
That's fair, and you're good at the front
hold.
But
right? I think it's a lot of Scott's strength event.
Yeah, I would say it's strength for sure as well, right?
And it's practical day-to-day life.
Not holding things.
I don't know. I do it at work all the time. Here's your tools. Here.
Well, yeah, that's a front race, but regardless. So for me, it's I knew that most of those events in both shows weren't terrible for me.
Yeah.
Kamloops, it was a good testing range, and then I did a little bit of preparation for it. The deadlift was something where I'm okay, this is a deadlift that actually gets me excited.
Yeah. You know what I love most about Kamloops? So Tyson was at Kamloops, and he was favored to win, and he's a very good deadlifter. So I was poised to go toe-to-toe with Tyson in a deadlift. Now, Kyle's got a phenomenal deadlift. It's 100 times better than mine. It's great. Let me tell you something. I know deadlifts.
I know. I was going that direction.
I know deadlifts. So when I talked to the Phelps brother, I talked to Jeremy, I'm like, hey, man, make me go second and let Kyle go last against Tyson. And he's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, man. Tyson's going to beat me in a deadlift. I already know this. And you want to give the fans something they want to see. I'm like, let's let Tyson and Kyle go toe-to-toe, side-by-side in the deadlift. And they did it. And I thought that was awesome. And also, too, I mean, I love Tyson. I love the pieces, but it was so nice to see Kyle beat him. I'm not going to lie. It was pretty good.
That was a good one. For me, I was more so worried at that point in time if my hamstring was even going to stay attached to the bone because I tweaked it on the sandbag that day.
It's always a good time.
Yeah, so I was very, very worried, and that's why I took everything a lot slower than normally. Once again, no discredit to Tyson. He still won the day. He was the stronger person. That is what it is. But that event, I was definitely reined everything in, because usually it's if people have ever seen me pull a deadlift, it's not very slow, and it's not very controlled.
You're very explosive and wild. It's impressive, actually.
Yeah, my concept is essentially usually you can't move heavy weight slowly, so why try and move it slow? So essentially, it's load. I built that kind of muscle fiber, and I've refined that movement over a decade and a half of doing it.
That's definitely your bread and butter event, is any deadlift.
Where it didn't necessarily used to be. I used to be better at grip and stuff like that. Atlas stones was usually my favorite, and anything farmer carry related, but deadlifts kind of worked its way to the top of the old mountain. So,
well, you think about it, everything though starts off the ground, so it only makes sense if a deadlift works its way up.
Pretty much. So, yeah. But once again, coming back around, I think to the original question, being able to roll off the couch, it's still planned. Yes, I'm rolling off the couch, but in my brain, I've done a little bit of planning and technical lead up to anything like that. The execution of any plan I had afterwards, I mean, has kind of gone right out the fucking window for lack of better terminology. But it's still, the difference in mentality, I would say, would be another thing, is that Kamloops, I came in trying to be the athlete I was in 2020. So it was like I was taking every event very seriously, putting on headphones, trying to get super hyped up. And it worked a little bit. But I still think there was other attributing factors that necessarily didn't lead me to be as good as I could have been.
Yeah.
However, I was good as I could have been on those days.
100%. That's all you can ask for is be the best you can be on that day.
And I mean, you can kind of attribute me at the BC Provincials. I was fucking laying around, lounging about, napping and stuff like that. So it's a very different mental focus.
100%.
And I would say that I pulled out a much more impressive performance that day.
Yeah, I would say BC, you're definitely a little more on. And the funny thing was, like, you weren't 100% focused on being an athlete that day because you're still coaching and you're also helping out at the event. So I wonder if like that might be better for you, where it's just like you try and if you detach yourself from the seriousness of the competition and just go in and do the lift, right?
I've done that before, and
it seemed like it worked better for you at the provincials in BC.
Yes,
and those guys were good. There were some good dudes there.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. It was anyone's game the entire day, so it was essentially who made the least amount of mistakes and stuff like that. And no discredit to any of the guys there. They were all very, very capable athletes. I just happened to, once again, I feel like that came down to experience as well, as I had like adjusted my sandbags before I went. I made sure that I had my handholds. My transition times are quicker, so it's once again comes down to experience.
And you know what? And that's a nice thing to have as a coach too. Is when you have a coach who has that experience to draw on, especially if you're an athlete and a newer athlete, because that'll help get rid of the nerves. And you want a coach who's going to help set you up for success. And I find a lot of times too, like there's nothing worse when you see an athlete at a show, whether it's bodybuilding, powerlifting, or strongman, and their coaches aren't there and they're trying to talk to them over the phone. Like, I'm sorry to say it, but that does not work. That is not good. If you got a coach who can be there, like that's good. And it was good you're there in BC. I mean, it was good you're there in Kamloops. It's good that you're going to be there at Nationals this year, because that's going to make or break the difference for your team and your athletes, right?
Alberta Provincials as well. I was there in coaching capacity. I think that it's still, like, coaches can be effective still from a long distance. You just need to have a game plan well executed before.
Good communication for sure.
Good communication, and then a game plan and expectations. I think that's one thing that, because a lot of general strength coaches in niche sports in the lower amateur region don't necessarily come from truly in-depth scientific backgrounds, goal setting, orientation, stuff like that, or they're not necessarily as anal as someone like myself is about that kind of stuff.
So can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So if you're picking a coach, right? Like say you're new, like you're somebody new to strongman, and so I'm gonna give you two scenarios. So like say you have somebody who's like rookie, like new, like wet behind the ears, still straight out of the womb, and then you got a seasoned athlete from another sport, and they want to pick a coach or a programmer, or whatever. What do you recommend for both of them, and how to go about it?
I would look at
finding a coach.
Like for finding a coach?
Yeah.
I would always recommend for any coach in any sport, look at the coach and look at the athletes they produced and the quality of athletes, and then also athlete retention. How long have those athletes been with that coach, right? And what have they done in the time they've been with them? So if they started from essentially absolute shit and gone to national champion in the span of X amount of years, you're like, okay, maybe that's a one-off. How many of those examples exist? Is there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them?
Yeah.
Because then you're like, okay, this person clearly, whatever they're doing, it's a process that works for many different individuals. It's not just one. How many provincial champions do they have? National champions, world champions, record holders, and look at it from that perspective. Also, don't just look at that person's competitive background as well. Like, they became a pro, so they must know what they're doing. I think it's always looking at the proof is in the pudding for anyone.
100%.
And then for someone that's brand new in the sport, who has a good amount of experience teaching, capable, personable, also has competed across many different places, that kind of thing. But I think it's really just looking at a coach and seeing what level of success and the results.
Yeah. Now, so say for instance somebody's in a program, like at what point do you think as an athlete you should step back and think, do I need to change coaches or am I still good? What are three main factors that an athlete should look at when they're on the fence as to whether or not they should continue with a program or move to somebody else's?
I think looking at if they've had effective goals established themselves, because that's the other thing too. As a coach, you can try and have goal setting scenario, and someone's like, "Oh, I just want to get stronger at overhead." It's like, but if you as a coach don't have measurable things, so it's like, I want to get stronger at axle clean and press by X date, and this is the number I would like to hit. Then that coach can tell you what's realistic or not realistic. And be like, okay, this is where I expect us to get in this amount of time frame if you do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So if you've come to that, you've had that open line of communication being like, hey, these are my measurable, smart, realistic goals.
Yeah.
And you're just not hitting them for, I would say 6 months realistically. 6 months is usually at least what I try and tell people is that, like, if you've come to me, yes, we'll see some beginner gains in the first 1 to 3 months. We'll make technical changes. But 6 months is where things really start to get picking up, especially if you're not jumping right into contests.
Yeah, because I noticed, like, there was a few athletes, and I'm not going to say who coached them or where they went to or whatever, but I noticed there was 3 athletes I noticed at one of the competitions this year, and it's almost like they regressed, like, big time, in, like, events that they should have been winning, like, they were not winning. And even just looking at their appearance physically, like, they've gotten softer, they've put on more weight, you could see the retention in their face. And it's kind of sad. Like, I thought to myself, I'm like, well, did they leave because they just felt the program wasn't good, or did they leave just because they wanted a more friend environment or something that, you know, was more socially important? And I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, you got to do whatever's going to make you happy. But as a true athlete and a true champion, you stick with who's going to get you to the top, right?
Yep. Well, the other thing, too, that is always taken into consideration is that I say not every coach, regardless of how good they may be, is a good fit for every athlete, right?
And that's a good point.
Because I've definitely had athletes that, like, I just don't work well with. At the bottom of the line, it's like, I'm like, hey, you know, this isn't working. And they're like, I don't think it's working either. They could put in the time and the effort, but, like, something just about personalities doesn't jive or things like that. I'm like, hey, you know, and they're like, oh, I'm thinking of leaving. I'm like, perfectly reasonable with that. It's like, if you ever want to come back, I'll be happy to try it again. When someone leaves me, I'm never upset about it.
Yep.
Because it's like, I still wish them the best.
And that's the thing. A good coach will want to see an athlete grow. Even if they might not be the one to get them there to finish it, but at least you were part of that.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's a big understanding, too.
And that's a respecting for the athlete and the sport.
Yeah. Is like, if someone wants to go try something else, by all means, power to them, right? Like, there's numerous coaches out there that are capable and successful. And the other thing, too, though, is that if the athlete goes and then they don't excel and then they realize that, it's like, I hope, also having been an athlete myself, it's like I've left coaches because they just weren't listening to me or like what I required over time and time again. So I'm like, okay, this is just fucking dumb. I'm hamstringing myself in my progress. So you also need to be self-conscious and not necessarily hurt their feelings, because sometimes you may be friends with a coach or things like that, but your friendship versus coaching relationship need to be two different things
100%.
at the end of the day
Absolutely.
as well, right?
And that's the thing. And I feel like a lot of people can't separate friendship from coaching and whatnot. And then complacency sets in. And that's huge. And that'll kill an athlete right away. And even a coach too, right? So that's super important. I look at it as like a coach is basically as work.
Yep.
You write the standard operating procedure and you give it to the athlete. This is what you have to do. This is the procedure to do it. You follow this. You follow this. You will not get hurt. You will not break anything, and you will get the job done.
I think there's always exceptions to that. I think there's always a place for feet. Like, I agree.
Well, then you put in your management a change and you discuss it.
That's
right?
exactly where I was getting
This is how my brain works with training. It's like
it's just a workplace
It's
environment.
literally just like work. It's like, this is what needs to get done. If this has to change, I will go and bring it up in an intelligent manner too.
Yes.
Because I find a lot of the time athletes just like to fucking argue and spit out stupid shit, and it's just like, okay, did you at least try it?
Yeah.
Okay, did you try anything at all? No, and you came for help right away. Well, go try it first, and then let me know what the fuck's going on, or go talk about it after. So
Nope. I think that, like, when a coach writes something, you are then, if you come to a coach and you agree to work with them, you're trusting their experience, their knowledge. You've done the research. You're putting your faith in them.
Yep.
You need to adhere to that program within reasonable, like, guidelines. If all of a sudden, you know, like, your possible workout window isn't necessarily big enough to fit everything in, you bring that. You discuss, be like, hey, I thought I was going to be able to fit everything in. These workouts are just taking a little bit longer.
Yeah.
They can potentially add rest times in there so it's monitored. But if you're a fucking gabbing person in the gym where you're spending 30 minutes talking, well, then, your hour and a bit workout is all of a sudden going to take 2.5 hours. So
30 minutes of jaw day.
Pretty much. Yeah. So that's another thing that needs to be taken into consideration too, is are you going to the gym to try and get through everything? Or is there also a social component, which is important, right? Like, going to the gym, shooting the shit is fine and dandy. Yeah. You just need to not bring that back to your coach, though, as the workout's taking too long because you're working your job.
Be honest.
Yeah, just be like, hey, you know, I'm a person that talks a lot. It's like, can we reduce exercise because I am still going to talk, right? But then you also have to understand that the level of performance may not necessarily directly influence the results you want, right? Because if a coach has X amount of exercise in there, it's there for a reason usually.
And chances are, if you're somebody who likes to talk and miss your workout, you're not an exceptional athlete.
Well, that's not necessarily
because an exceptional athlete's going to get their workout done. You're not a chatty Cathy. Shut the fuck up. I've seen what you're like. When there's work to get done, you get your work done.
So I think there's always exceptions to the rules. The general populace, yes, absolutely. There are gifted athletes where you give them some stuff, they do some things, they don't do all of the things, and then they show up and they surprise people. That happens. That's just the way it is. But I think as a general standard of practice, like you say, yes, you should go in aiming to complete everything. Anything you don't complete, make notes. Or if you have questions, ask questions. Why is this in there? Most good coaches can explain the rationale and reasoning behind exercise choice as well.
My next question for you, Kyle, because I don't want you to keep asking me. I got some questions.
Yeah.
Like, what are your thoughts on diet for strongman and strength sports in general? Like,
Diet's extremely. So if we look at,
do you think it's blanketed or
no,
individual?
Like, if we look at a athlete as a pyramid of what's the most important, at the bottom, sleep.
Yeah.
Above that is nutrition. At the top is training.
Yeah.
Like, not quite the top, but the slight bit.
Yeah.
And the last bit is like supplementation and extra bullshit.
Yeah.
If your sleep's fucked, then the foundation for the rest of your pyramid's fucked.
Absolutely.
If your nutrition is fucked, the rest of the pyramid goes to shit. Everyone knows how to go to the gym and bust their ass and work super hard, get a pump, fucking feel like you're gonna puke and throw up on the ground. But if you don't have the bottom two, you're only getting the top possibility of that capableness, right? Like, and yes, certain supplements can help with shitty nutrition for sure.
Yep.
But if you're not leaving any stone unturned on the bottom two, then everything you do training wise is going to be substantially better. I'm terrible with nutrition. Like, I fucking hate eating healthy and proper. Like, I don't hate it.
What would be one thing you could recommend to any athlete? Like, this is the number one cardinal rule for nutrition. Because I know what I'm going to say. I want to see if you're going to say the same thing.
Eat enough.
Mine is protein.
Well, yeah, I would say protein's important.
If you're gonna, like, no matter what you do, just like, if you want to eat like shit, fine, but make sure you get, like, if for me it's 200 grams of protein. Make sure you get your 200 fucking grams of protein in.
So I think, that works. Like, I know myself, a lot of times I'm not getting 220.
No.
But what I'm saying though is that if you don't even bring in enough calories to get the calories you're putting out, you can't ever recover.
It's
right?
true.
The body is adaptive, so yes, it's going to find ways to still utilize and change whatever nutrients you bring in into energy.
Yeah.
Is it going to be most efficient, and how are you going to feel?
Yeah.
Right? As long as you get enough calories, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, I think I eat enough." I was also one of them. I'm like, "Yeah, I probably eat enough. But then when I actually I'm not necessarily eating as much as I should, or food timing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like.
How about hydration? Do you find a lot of athletes struggle with properly hydrating?
Yes. Hydration is super, super underutilized, and it's one of the most important tools, I would say, because, like, your body's comprised of, it's like 76%
and
water.
That's something I've worked on a lot this season, is hydration.
Yep.
And something I never did before, and something we started doing, is salt intake too.
Well, so yeah, that's the other component of hydration, is that you can't just drink a fuckload of water, because the body has systems in place to prevent from being overhydrated. So you need to make sure there's retention via sodium, potassium, that kind of stuff. So all those micronutrients to ensure that you retain it, but don't over-retain water.
Absolutely.
Right?
So yeah, I've been adding salt. Like this, I'll add two quarter teaspoons or tablespoons of sea salt.
Yep.
So every liter of water, quarter teaspoon or whatever sea salt.
And it's going to usually make you feel a lot better. The muscles are going to be more reactive. You're going to feel better throughout the workout. Sleep's going to be improved. So it's just, once again, that chain effect of like those. That's a little detail though, right?
Yeah.
So that's the little piece up at the top.
Yeah. But it still helps, right?
No, well, that's the thing, is you have your nutrition dialed in.
Ish.
When it comes time to push, though, you're, like, I was here the other day, you were eating rice cakes while I was eating chips.
Yeah.
You have that ability to say no. You're like, it's game time, I'm doing something for my goal.
That is true, yeah. And the other thing, too, is I find when I eat like a piece of shit, I just get so fucking inflamed. And I mean, I don't know if it's an old age thing or what, but like if I'm eating pizza all the time, and I love pizza, everybody, I will tell you, like, I am a fucking Ninja Turtle. I fucking love pizza. Like Garfield loves lasagna, and I love chips. And I find when I'm really off diet, that's when I'm really sore. Like my knees are really killing me, right? So I gotta kind of keep that in check as I get older too, right?
So I think one common misconception is people being like, "Oh, I'm inflamed." Well, inflammation is a sign that things just are trying to heal.
Yeah, that is true too.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what inflammation is. It's the body's healing process. So if you're inflamed, when you eat more pizza. I don't think it's necessarily the pizza's fault. I think that training and recovery aspects are potentially worse. One thing I think the pizza does, though, is causes more water retention around certain areas, and then carrying extra weight and load, thus increasing the capacity of what the joints aren't used to.
Answer. Yeah.
It's almost like I've been doing this for a while.
It's almost like I know what I'm talking about.
Shit. Yeah, so like, I eat a fuckload of pizza. I've eaten McDonald's.
We know.
I've eaten all of the
You are a trash panda at heart. 100%.
100%, yeah. So it's like, at the end of the day, do I eat healthy? In the past 2 years, I've cleaned up my diet.
I'd say you're not terrible.
The only reason I'm not terrible anymore is because there's a specific catalyst that changed all of that. It wasn't me that did it. It's essentially everything is prepared for me. So thank you to my fiance Alyssa for doing all of the meal prep.
You're the real goat.
100%. She keeps the wheels on this wagon rolling. But before that, it was like, I would stop at McDonald's 2 times a day. I'd hit up like the Panago on my way home as well. So like, if the food's not necessarily made or easy to make, I'm probably not going to eat it.
You know what's funny you say that is, it's interesting because I think truly to be successful in this sport is you have to have a spouse that's supportive.
Oh, yes.
And they have to understand that they come second. And I've been fortunate with Tanya, with her being an ex-bodybuilder and stuff. Like, she gets it. Like, no, there's just plain chicken in the fridge and vegetables and fruit. There's no candy. There's no chips. Because she's been down that road, right? I remember when I first started seeing her, she's like, "You hungry?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she pulls out fucking fish out of her purse. It's in a Ziploc bag. And I'm like, how fucking long has that been in there? "Oh, I made it last night. And I just put it in my purse this morning." I'm like, "I'm not fucking eating that." It was like fish jerky. She's like, "I overcook it so I don't get sick." I'm like, "Oh, so I need a gallon of water to down it. Nice, thanks. I'll pass."
Hydration.
But again, like, that's what it takes, right? And those are the kind of people you need to have around you.
Well, I think, yes, you're on the right track for sure. I don't necessarily think that that person has to come second all of the time. I think they need to understand that to reach a specific goal, there has to be give and take in a relationship, right? Like, sometimes you can't give 100%, so you might be able to give 40, so that person has to pick up the missing 20%. They do 60 when you do 40, right? But it's once again, comes down to communication. Everything comes down to communication.
Absolutely, man.
So if you can't have a partner who's supportive of your goals and all the
or
necessary
understanding
steps,
of it.
Yeah, or understanding. I think supportive though is still required because they would have to pick up the pieces on the
backside,
right?
No, without a doubt. Like, I'm fortunate that way. I mean, obviously we're going through whatever, but she was always really, really good that way, and I'm always very grateful. And same thing when she was bodybuilding. No matter what. Like, I remember one day I competed like 2 weeks before. I gave myself gout from eating. Like, I didn't reverse diet at all. Like, I was skinny, and I just went straight to like Tim Hortons, ice caps, donuts, pizza, like chips, like beaver tails, you name it, anything and everything. And she needed a new laptop charger, so she uploaded her music for her Toronto Pro debut or whatever. So I'm like, okay, I'll go. Well, my ankle swelled right up, and I thought I sprained it. I'm like, I can hardly walk on it. It was fucking gout. Like, I gave myself gout because I didn't reverse diet. So here I was, like, dick skin lean, like 0% body fat, like lean as shit with gout. And it was just like, how does somebody who looks so healthy have fucking gout? But yeah.
Bodybuilding, that's an entirely different topic of how bodybuilding isn't healthy. Lean is not healthy.
You know, and people, at what point does sport no longer become healthy? Like strongman, for instance. Like, well, he's strongman, we can pick on. Like, bodybuilding is so easy to pick on because we all know.
Well, I think any sport at the high level isn't healthy.
No, I think you're right.
Like, at the elite to advanced level, it's not healthy. No sport is truly healthy.
You're maximizing it.
Potentially, like, low-impact sports, like maybe fucking golf.
Yeah, that's... Well, I mean, even still, like, I think you're going to
There's a lot of rotational force and stuff like that, but
wear and tear issues. But like,
most golfers, you can keep going at a relatively high level for a long amount of time.
Like, even a CrossFit athlete, like, you think about it like that is...
Oh, no, CrossFit's not healthy.
No, you're going to get rhabdo. Like, you are pushing, man. You are fucking pushing big time, right?
So it's how you view it. It's like, if you want to be the best in the country or the best in the world, no, you're not. Being the top of a sport is not healthy mentally or physically.
And I think that's something people are unaware of or don't want to come to terms to. Like, when you do this and you decide to go to that next level, you're trading years of your life.
100% in a lot of aspects, yes. I think certain sports, there's other sports where I think you can do it and reach a pinnacle without the great trade-off. Excuse me.
Or long-term longevity. Whether it be like joint pain, arthritis.
Oh, I don't think strongman's a sport of longevity. That's just the reality behind it. You can't keep doing it forever.
No.
Regardless of what anyone says.
No, you can't.
There's, once again, outliers like Mark Felix or Nick Best or people like that. even Big Z to a degree. But you can't do this sport for a very, very, very long amount of time. You have a shelf life before you go into the Masters division, and even the Masters division, shit starts falling apart.
Oh, I think you're already on limp mode by the time you get in there myself, because that's something I've kind of played with too in the back of my head. I'm like, okay, well, I'm 35. I got 5 years till Masters. I'm like, am I even gonna fucking make it, or am I gonna stop, take a break, and then come back?
Well, that's the other thing though too, is that if you set goals based upon trying to be more like conscious of your duration in the sport, and you're like, hey, this sport is something that I find very positive for my life, and I want to continue doing it for X amount of years, as opposed to just being like, we use the Eastern Europeans as a great example in arm wrestling. There's a lot of those guys that showed up one day, juiced to the gills, fucking absolute phenoms, and they're gone 2 years, and you're like, what happened? They're like, well, they burnt out, and now they're, living off in some fucking field somewhere. But they were the best in the sport for like 3 years, and then they came off.
And that could be goal specific too, but and that's something else.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. Is it's goal related, right? And
then like you hear about the YOLO stacks and steroids and in strength sports and stuff, and that's the other thing is, what are you willing to trade to win? Mm-hmm. And that's something that a lot of people think that they're willing to do until it actually comes time to pay the piper. And when that time comes, the people who are truly willing to do it accept it as their own decision. And I did this to myself. Or you get the people who start pointing fingers at everybody else. And ultimately, at the end of the day, you're the one who stuck the needle in your arm or in your butt. Nobody did it for you. Yep. You made the conscious decision to do that. You're only to blame yourself for it. And you said, well, so-and-so didn't do this. No. The buck will always fall back on the athlete, because you're the one to decide how far you want to push it. You just had people around you who were giving you the avenues on how to get there.
That is very true. So that's the thing, too, that comes down to, is that you have to trust the people that are giving you this information, this knowledge, or you need to be self-reliant and do that research yourself.
Double check it. You hear a lot of that in bodybuilding. Oh, they fucked my thyroid up, or oh, they did this and this, and it's just like, did they do that, or did you do that to yourself?
Well, did you listen to a coach who is not qualified to be talking about those levels of pharmaceuticals and stuff? And that's the reality. It's more Instagram influencers.
And you know what? It's funny you said. That's why I started Patty P coaching, because a lot of these people are just, so on my Instagram, it's all satire, and I just make fun of a lot of these lifestyle and fucking financial coaches and marital divorce trauma coaches, people that are literally like have no business trying to help people whatsoever.
Leeches.
Or it's just like somebody had a 6-pack of abs once, so they decide they can be a bodybuilding coach, and it's just like they're putting you on whitefish and asparagus for fucking 6 weeks straight, and then next thing you know is your thyroid's fucked and everything's fucked, your numbers are all at the fucking lunch, and they're having you blast Anavar and fuck whatever the fuck else, right? And it's just, next thing you know is like you're dying. So yeah, that's, and Kyle nailed it, because there's a lot of unqualified people out there. And the other thing too is, I find a lot of people just aren't willing to do the homework before they jump into something, to understand what they're jumping into and what they're getting into.
Well, also, a lot of times they choose the cheaper alternative, because they're like, well, this coach is cheaper. It's like, once again, coaches tend to, even in niche sports, charge based on their qualifications.
You get what you pay for. I've always been a firm believer.
I think bodybuilding's a little bit skewed, because there's people that charge a lot that are not qualified still. I think people, though, with selective coaching lists, like someone who's not taking everyone and anyone, they're like, hey, we'll sit down, we'll have a consultation, and then I'll decide if I want you.
And that's a good,
that's
a good indicator. You're right. That is a very good
client
indicator.
Retention as well. Like, are they posting their clients, or are they posting themselves, showing, these stupid Instagram things and stuff like that?
Yeah, and that's another thing. You're absolutely right. It's just like, how many times do you see somebody like posting like clients, and you're absolutely right. Like, I know on your Ronin page, you guys are always posting your clients. I know on VO2 Max, they post a lot of their clients and stuff too. And those are all very good indicators. And you made some very good choices. So anybody who watches this, listen to what he just said there, because that is a very fucking good point.
Yeah, so that applies to literally any type of coaching that you go through or into, is always look at the proof being in the pudding, or the athletes that have come from that place, or like the list of qualifications, their experiences, where they've worked prior, that kind of stuff. And just do, once again, the research.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, I charge a little bit more than some of the local people and stuff like that. Or realistically, there's even some that charge similar to me, but lack a lot of the skill.
Yeah, and you know what, though, I know firsthand how much you put into your programming and your athletes, and I've witnessed it. And it's also one of the reasons why I'm your friends, why I'm such good friends with you, because you genuinely care and you give a fuck. And that's important. And you respect your athletes, yourself, and your business. So you're very professional on how you carry yourself and how you go about things. And I think, and that's one thing I've always admired about you as a coach and as a person.
Yeah. So I appreciate that.
No worries, man.
But I think that comes from years of having worked in the gyms and in the strength and fitness industry, or just the fitness industry in general. Is that I've started at the bottom and I worked my way all the way to the point where I've become successful. I'm branching out, and what I do with Ronin isn't necessarily something that I started to make money. It was a passion project because a couple friends asked me to help them coach, and then a couple more people asked, and a couple more people asked, and all of a sudden I have, between myself and Jared, I think we have almost like 35, 40 athletes.
Good athletes.
Yeah. I mean, there's, beginners. We have all stages of athletes, and that's another thing, though, is that we don't necessarily be like, no, we don't want you because you're at this level, right? Like, I myself will work with someone who's brand new if they show me that they want to put in the time, the effort, and they're coachable, and like,
or even just technical work, like with myself. Like I hired Kyle, so I have a great coach. I got my coach is awesome, but the one thing he lacked experience in is strongman specific events. Now I just so happened to be fortunate enough to have met Kyle, and he lives in town, so I made a deal, and I pay for Ronin coaching, and in return he gives me awesome technical advice on all my lifts and certain things to tweak, how to hold anything, something small, just like how to hold it, when to breathe, anything like that goes a long way, especially at a top level. So like I said,
top of the pyramid.
Absolutely, man. There's a little fine tuning. I know you're getting close to time, Kyle, and I'm kind of fucking asking you questions now.
No, that's fine. I like it. It's good
because So nationals. I kind of want to get who your top 4 or 5 are for each weight class, if you can. Because I know you're probably up on all the women and the men, so...
Not on the women. I haven't actually done my research for nationals quite yet.
But I'm sure you probably got your own athletes kind of figured out.
A little bit, yeah.
So who do you got in like Michelle's class? Because Michelle's very good.
I haven't actually looked at the U82 women yet. I haven't looked at the women. I'm going to be doing all my athlete analysis and stuff like that Monday. I can probably give a range for the men.
I think Jesse's going to win.
In what?
Her weight class.
Jesse's not competing at nationals.
Oh, no way!
No, she has
I hope you see this, Jesse. How dare you? How dare you?
No, she has an injured shoulder that she went into BC provincials with
still won.
Yeah, so she's saving that for the Arnolds, though.
Oh, good for her.
So we'll go through the men, though. In the U80s, I think it's a lot of possibilities.
That's going to be so fun to watch. I wish I was a coach. Honestly, if I could even just go watch nationals this year, I'd be pumped. But
I think Alex Thibodeau has made a lot of progress from Quebec. He actually used to work with me back in 2022, I think. But he's come a long ways. He's come back to the sport, I think, just this past year. So he's one to not count out on anything. I think clear-cut favorites are for sure Robin Killoran, who was 3rd place last year in a very competitive class. Things to take into consideration for Robin, his deadlift is a little bit lagging behind certain people like Brett Stewart from Calgary. I think Brett can make up points there. Aldo, who is a BC person who moved to Ontario, could be relatively good at a couple things as well.
So your top 3 U80, who you got?
I think it, like, in order or just any top 3?
Any specific order, because I personally don't think...
I don't think I could pick and choose because the day of is going to be... Like, the finite details are going to make it. I think Jared and Robin are for sure on the podium.
Yeah.
And then... I wish I had the athlete list right in front of me, because then I could probably give a better representation. I think there's a fellow from Manitoba who's done quite well, so I'm going to go with him.
I think his name's Garrett.
Oh no, Garrett's in Masters.
Garrett's
in Masters. He
Garrett's
was
U80,
U80, but I believe the person who was in his class prior did quite well as well. So I'm going to go that direction.
Manitoba,
But once again, I think for sure Robin and Jared, realistically, based on seeing where everything's at and seeing the weights and stuff like that and other athletes, I think they're probably...
And those two are close. That's going to be a fight.
Yeah, it's going to be wild.
I can't... Okay, U90.
U90. Top 3.
Want to put names in a hat or what? We can put top 5 in a hat.
Legitimately, I think it's very, very hard to say. I think...
In no specific order, because it's going to go anyway.
Yeah, it's...
There's no clear-cut winner there.
I think if I had to bet a large sum of money on consistency throughout events in the season and just past experiences, experience level, I probably have to say Evan Urowski. because he's been closer right up there every single time. This is barring unforeseen circumstances.
Will, if he shows up as...
We're doing top 3 or top 5.
Oh, okay, top 3, sorry.
Like, yes, usually I would like to bet on Will. However, Will's training currently has not been...
FYI, everybody watching, there's 2 versions of Will you get. You have Bruce Banner Will, who's a calm, nerdy, kind of nervous guy, and then you have Hulk Will. When Will gets up in the morning and goes down to Denny's and orders a big breakfast and calmly eats it, you're in trouble. Your day is fucked. I'm telling you this from experience.
It's so hard because, like, Robert Rogel's another good one that could be up there. I think, like, Mark LaChance has made tremendous progress. Josh Dunbar, once again, was right there last year.
Yep. Sergey could be there.
Sergey, yourself, Will. I don't think there's an easy way to stay top 3 realistically. It's like, essentially, I'm just picking favoritism. I'd be like, well, it's Will, Jeremy, and Sergey.
Stop.
But yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, no, top 5 is. I can't even pick top 5 yet.
Because even looking at Carlos Monsalve, what he did at provincials was a huge step up. I think for him competing at Kamloops leveled him up as an athlete and pushed him to the next level. It was like
he could have very well peaked there, and that was I was kind of sad not to see Gayton make nationals. I think we saw peaked Gayton. I'm sorry if I pronounced the name wrong. In Kamloops, he was very impressive. I don't know how well his training went going to provincials or what the factors were leading into that. But I think Carlos peaked properly for provincials. I don't think he was quite...
I think Carlos has been on a steady upwards trajectory and hasn't necessarily taken any approach to peaking for any specific contest. He's just been following a linear style of training where he has a little peak, up, peak up, and not just one boom and then the large fall-offs.
That could be it too,
U105 going into that next.
That's going to be another good one.
I think Jesse Campbell.
Yeah, that's my pick too. And like, no offense to my boys in U105, but that man deserves his fucking pro card.
Yeah, Jesse, I've been competing with Jesse since the dawn of time, damn near. I think he has a year on me in the actual circuit and stuff like that, because I think he started 2015. But I was there in 2016 and watched him win a provincials and just like mollywop folks. I think Jesse joining poses a large problem because he's the most well-rounded and his strength potential is relatively high.
And experience is through the fucking roof.
Yes. I think the one thing that may be a downside for Jesse currently is his deadlift. Once again, I don't know exactly what kind of shape he's in. However, when I spoke to him at BC Provincials, he did say it wasn't as good as it had been.
Right.
However, I've seen the man rep out numerous things on numerous occasions. So his work capacity is very high, and his 1RM isn't always as high.
Right.
But I do foresee a lot of potential people stealing points there. I would say Darcy Flaska, just having podiumed at the U120 previously. However, I do believe that for Darcy, he needs to have a good weight cut.
Yeah.
He needs to properly rehydrate because he's fucked himself before, and he's very analytical, intelligent in that department.
Yeah.
So he learns from mistakes, usually. It'll be interesting to see how his axle clean and press away goes.
I'm rooting for that motherfucker too.
I love Darcy.
Yeah,
he was
Darcy
once again
too.
a Ronin athlete
and
as well.
Good, and I just like Darcy.
Darcy's good shit. He's one of my favorite folks. I think it's going to be curious on how the axle clean press goes for him.
Yep.
How his capacity throughout the day maintains the entire day, if he's able to keep in a high condition.
Yep.
If he doesn't fiddle with too many different supplements going into the day, because that's bit him in the butt behind prior. So yeah, I think Darcy's up there, Jesse, and then realistically, I do want to say Tyson based on.
I'm not going to count him out because he's good.
We just spoke today, and how everything is feeling in his upwards trajectory. I think that we are seeing a different version again of Tyson coming into his own.
Perfect.
So. Once again, there's other people that are super great as well that are on the outliers.
He might even end up being a guy who's better at 105.
He could.
The weight on.
He could very well be. It's like me. I'm 100% better at 105.
Oh, absolutely.
I should never cut that reach.
No, man. No.
Even cutting to 220, I don't like that.
Tyson very well may be one of those guys. And like Nick Christofi, he's a U90 guy, but he might be
U80.
Yeah, U80, right? So again, like, it's just, it comes down to the person, I guess, right?
And goals, you have to look at if you want to be a world's level competitor and stuff like that. I think the U105 other considerations would be like Will Provost. Will's been improving and improving. The Sean Mirion guy from Ontario, although he has made note that, training's not going super great, his life's not going well, XYZ, all the excuses in the book. But you still can't discredit someone placing third or fourth at the prior nationals. That means that they are a threat. Jeff, I don't know how to say your last name properly, Jeff, not to butcher it, but you know who I'm talking about, Jeff.
Jeff Campbell, as I look at it.
Yeah.
You know what? I hope Jeff fucking gets on that podium. I don't know if he will or not, but that guy is a workhorse, and he's got some of the craziest grip strength I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah, no, Jeff's grip strength is fucking goofy. It's like super heavyweight grip strength.
It's just insane.
So I think Jeff, on a good day, he could do it because Jeff should still be good for a couple reps on the deadlift. He's good for a couple reps on the overhead press.
He's got a good gas tank.
He's got an exceptional gas tank. He's not terrible at the sandbag to shoulder.
And he's calm.
He's calm throughout the entire day.
Yep.
He doesn't get flustered. He's just there to fuck around, find out.
That is, you know what? He's probably my dark horse pick to get on the podium.
That's fair. I definitely think he's a good one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like, there's plenty of people. It's a deep class. It's exciting. There's people that are definitely going to steal points. And even still potentially pull it out. Like Sam Spinelli could have a Tyson-style performance where he does super well on the overhead press. He does great on the yoke. Deadlift, I assume he's probably, no offense, Sam, going to zero the 560 because he missed the 545 at provincials. But sandbag to shoulder, that dude's a fucking dangerous person there. If he can get a bar to his shoulders, I know his Olympic style pressing. So yeah, moving into the U120, I don't really know any.
Okay, I know one guy, and he's from Manitoba, and I know he's got a phenomenal overhead.
Oh yes,
he's very athletic.
Yeah.
He missed his weight cut for 105.
Yeah.
But I've been following his training, and he's been like, I'm like, oh shit, this motherfucker has come to play. Like he's I got him on my podium, and then we just moved to open then.
Open's such a goddamn deep, challenging class to pick.
I know you probably. I don't follow the Open that much, but I know you probably do. But I wish Alex Lorenz was competing.
I think we all do.
The guy that got second by like just a hair in BC.
Cameron Saint Amand.
That man is a fucking explosive fucking athlete. Like he is.
Yeah, that dude's a motherfucker.
He is 100% a motherfucker.
There's no other way to put it. He's a motherfucker.
Like he is going to be a fucking problem for anybody at provincials. I haven't seen anybody in the East. I wish Alex was there. If Kyle comes in, and I don't know how Kyle's, again, he's your athlete, but if Kyle can come in and he's been training and disciplined and he's getting the right mindset and he's been putting in the fucking work, he very much could win. I got Kyle potentially on my podium. I got that guy from BC. I would say he might be my pick to win. Again, I don't follow the Opens so much, and if Alex Lorenz was there, I would have had him on my podium too.
Yeah, I think that's... So I once again, I think the reason why Alex stepped out of this one is that the static weights were just slightly outside of his capabilities to put on a good enough showing, which I agree with him in that sense. It was a wise decision. Do I think he still would have done quite well? Yes. But I think he wouldn't have done as well as he wanted.
That's fair.
So I think realistically...
that guy's a disciplined athlete.
He's a very, very intelligent individual and absolute beauty of a human.
Yeah.
I think Alex Crisby isn't someone to
Alex Crisby
count out.
No, I think he's up there too. I love Alex.
Francis Marchot, I think. I don't know how to say your name, Francis, or Francois, or whatever it is. You're from Quebec. You were like a U90 athlete, worked all the way up to open weight. I think Nationals is going to be his 100th contest.
Holy fuck.
Very capable individual.
Experienced. Fuck,
extraordinarily experienced. So I don't think you count him out.
No.
Ryan Jabs.
I forgot about Jabs. That's another motherfucker. He is a motherfucker too, man. That is a guy who could potentially fucking just blow everybody out of the water.
So I've seen Jabs compete.
Because he's statically strong and he's a fucking athlete.
It's going to be how much recovery Jabs actually did have coming back into it. Because I haven't seen him do yoke yet. And I know it was a big adductor tear or abductor tear.
Yeah.
But they figured that by this point in time, he should be capable to compete. So I think Jabs is a favorite.
Yeah.
Alex Crisby, Cameron Saint Amand. I think Alex Clipper.
I didn't even realize how deep this fucking open.
Oh, it goes, and like there's no lack of potential.
Kyle's in for. He has to be on point.
Yep, and Alex Clipper is like he's right there. Like we've made some serious gains in the last 2 months, and like I think he's going to be a problem next year for a lot of people that like. He just shows up to contests and fucking wins yokes and farmers. And they're like, what?
Who are you? What are you?
Yeah, and he used to weigh like U90 as well. So he's just a dude that has a big frame, a lot of raw potential and stuff like that. And he's come a long way and is very coachable. But yeah, I want to say that's probably going to be in the range of Cameron St. Amand, Kyle Francotti, Alex Crisby, Francis, and Ryan Jabs.
Yeah.
I think. Ben Borger might do okay. Dylan Dorsey, because it's heavier, could do okay.
I want to see him on the axle press. I think he's going to win that.
He could. I mean, like, it's possible, but Saint Amand is a savage too. But I think the problem with Dorsey, though, is that to win that, he's going to have to redline. I don't know how good his actual work capacity is, because I've seen him going white, blue, purple, and shit like that from weights you and I have done at Kamloops, right? So if you're maxing at your top potential as well.
Statically, he's right there.
Oh, statically, he's a savage. Absolute savage. But he also blew apart at Kamloops with much lighter weights.
You know what? You're right. Honestly, okay. If I gotta pick top 3 right now, and this is purely based on just a comfort safe pick. Jabs, in no specific order. Jabs, Crisby, Saint Amand.
That's fair. No, and I don't think there's anything wrong with those.
Providing all 3 of those guys are healthy and coming on point. No offense, Kyle Francotti, you're good, but like these guys are very, very seasoned, and like you said, the 2 of these guys are motherfuckers, and Alex is strong as fuck.
Alex did get beat by Kyle at provincials. That's one thing to take into consideration.
Right.
And, I mean, Dan Hagen is another one that you can't count out as well.
Oh, I don't even know Dan. Sorry, Dan. I don't know you.
Dan, I think, got 4th at provincials. And won Western Canada? No, Alberta's strongest man.
One thing I've noticed about Crisby, because like I've followed him quite thoroughly on Instagram, is he's definitely got his, like, he's leaned out. Like, he looks like he's keeping size, but he's like
he's put on more muscle. Yes, he's done a recomp where the muscle is coming through more and more and more.
You can tell by his diet and everything else. I don't know if that's his wife getting him on point or what. If that's your wife, Alex, like, good for her.
They got a good thing going on.
100% they do.
So yeah, I think it's going to be a close one. It's who also makes the least amount of mistakes, because all it takes is one bad event, one injury, and then you're out of the running. Because I think there's 24 athletes in that weight class, so this is zero.
This is like the U90. It's just too close. It's gonna be so close.
Yeah,
you got your top 5 you can have safely pick, but other than that, like it's anybody's fucking race. Yeah,
but we're gonna end it there. I got things and stuff to do. So
sure do.
Thanks for being the second guest on the podcast.
Fuck
here,
and
first
loser. Well, fuck you, Jared.
we'll do a recap here probably in the coming weeks of how national goes and everything like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go from there.
For sure.
Sweet.
Right on, Kyle. Good seeing you, bud.
Thanks.